Welcome to another episode of A Proverb a Day Keeps the Enemy Away. Now, we've been looking into the book of Proverbs, a chapter each a day for the past 28 days, and today is the 29th day, and we're going to look into chapter 29. I hope you all have been enjoying this Bible study, and let's look into chapter 29. Now, I encourage all of you to read the whole chapter, even though we're going to focus on only the first verse for today. Chapter 29, verse 1. I'm going to read to you from the NKJV Bible. He who is often rebuked and hardens his neck will suddenly be destroyed and without remedy. Now, what does this verse mean? What does rebuke means? Rebuke means being corrected. Now, we are all human beings and we all make mistakes. So when we make mistakes, like people who love us very much, who wants the best for us, what they do is that they correct us. Because they want the best for us, like our parents or our friends who wants good things to happen to us. They correct us. They say that we've done something wrong and we have to turn back. Now, what happens when others correct us? Sometimes we take it in a positive way, but most of the time what happens is that, when others correct us, we think, oh, why do they have to say that? Who are they to say that, I'm better than them, I know better than them, and I don't need to listen to them. And, that is exactly what this verse says, he who is often rebuked and hardens his neck. Hardens his neck here, the phrase hardens his neck, it means being stubborn or being rebellious. That is what we do when people try to correct us. We harden our neck, we become rebellious, we become stubborn. Now, what happens when we become stubborn and we don't listen to people who correct us? We still continue doing the wrong things. When we still continue doing the wrong things, God, uses much harder methods. That's what says in this verse, will suddenly be destroyed and without remedy. So which means that, God uses harder methods to correct us. Like, when we look at the Egyptians, when the Israelites, Egyptians were torturing the Israelites, and when Moses and Aaron went to the Pharaoh and asked them to let the Israelites go to worship the Lord, Pharaoh said, no, we can't let them go. So what happened was that God brought the plagues to Egypt. How many plagues were there? There were 10 plagues which came to Egypt. After each plague, what happened was that the Pharaoh said, ask God to stop the plague and I'll let the Israelites go. So each time Moses prayed and the plague stopped, Pharaoh's heart was hardened. God hardened his heart, and in the end, the 10th plague, which is the killing of the firstborns of the Egyptians. It's not just the firstborns of the people, of all the livestock and everything that they had. So this is how God punished the Egyptians for not listening to him. Even though it was Moses and Aaron who went and talked to the Egyptians, it was God who was speaking to them through Moses and Aaron. Now, in the end, what happened to them was the Egyptians' firstborns were killed. Now, let's look at Israelites. Israelites were God's chosen people. They were God's dearest children. But even though they were very dear and very close to God, what happened was that, like when all the troubles were over and everything, they turned away from God. And, whatever God did, they didn't remember all the good things that God did to them, and they turned away from him and they started going away from him. So what did God do? God gave them into the hands of King Nebuchadnezzar. And what did King Nebuchadnezzar do? He took them as prisoners, all the Israelites as prisoners, and took them to Babylon. Now these are things that God does, to bring the these were the things that God did to bring them back to him, to make them look at him for help, look to him for help. Now this is what happens to us as well. Sometimes when we go away from God, we think that it's something bad that happens to us, but it's not something bad. It's God punishes us in small ways just to bring us back. Like sometimes, like when we don't listen to our parents, when we used to be very small children and we didn't listen to our parents, what did they do? They used to take away the best toys, our favorite toys, or they used to like tell that we could not see our favorite show for a couple of days or for a week, even for a week at times. So these were the small punishments that our parents used to give us, so that we would realize that we have done something wrong, and we would come back and say sorry, and then turn away from doing the bad things and start doing the right things from then on. Now sometimes like it doesn't have to be like our parents or our dear ones who correct us like this. It can be sometimes a tiny voice inside us that correct us. Sometimes when we go to do something bad, there's something inside us, like our conscious, we say, that speaks inside us, don't do it, it's not good, it's not the right thing to do. So and then we normally just leave that voice. We don't listen to that voice, but that is the voice of God speaking in our hearts. So what happens when we don't listen to these voices, and when we don't listen to our parents, when we don't listen to like people who really love us and want the best for us? They all try to correct us, they all, and God uses them to speak to us. Sometimes God doesn't speak to us directly. God can speak to us directly as well, but sometimes God uses these measures to speak to us. And when we don't listen to all this, God uses other methods. God uses some harsh methods, like we saw with the Israelites and we saw with the Egyptians. There are many other examples in the Bible, King Ahab, and there are many other examples in the Bible. I can't explain all the examples now. So we have to be submissive to corrections. We have to give ourselves to corrections, and we have to be yielding to corrections. Otherwise what happens is that if we harden our neck, if we become stubborn, what happens is that we will suddenly be the punishment that we get, it would be strong and it would be harder, and then we will not be able to face that, and the consequence that we have to face might be a bit more harsh. So that is why I pray, and I I encourage each and every one of you who is listening to me, from now on, let us all try to be very obedient to the word of God, not just to the word of God, like to our parents. Let us try to be submissive to God. When we look into the Bible, Jesus was a very obedient child, even as a child, and even when he was older, he never went against the law. Whatever he did, it was according to the law. When they had to give tax, he gave tax. He was God, but he didn't have to do it if he didn't want to do it, but he just wanted to be submissive to the law. That's why he did it. And that's what happens, and how can we be submissive? We can be submissive by being obedient to our parents. When we're living on this earth, we have rules that we have to follow. It's not just the rules in the home, where we work, where we study, in our schools, in our colleges, in our workplaces. We've got rules. We've got our supervisors, our teachers, and people who are above us, and we have to follow the rules that they set for us. These are all the ways that we can be obedient and we can be submissive. And I hope and pray that we all, in these days, coming days, we all try our best to be as obedient and submissive, and Let us stop hardening our necks. Let us stop being stubborn and rebellious. May God bless each and every one of us and help us to be obedient and submissive to His word. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Proverbs 29. He who is often rebuked and hardens his neck will suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when a wicked man rules, the people groan. Whoever loves wisdom makes his father rejoice, but a companion of harlots wastes his wealth. The king establishes the land by justice, but he who receives bribes overthrows it. A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. By transgression, an evil man is snared, but the righteous sings and rejoices. The righteous considers the cause of the poor, but the wicked does not understand such knowledge. Scoffers set a city aflame, but wise men turn away wrath. If a man contends with a foolish man, whether the fool rages or laughs, there is no peace.
The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. The poor and the deceitful man meet together. The Lord lighteneth both their eyes. The king that faithfully judgeth the poor, his throne shall be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bring his mother to shame. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increase, but the righteous shall see their fall.
Correct your son, and he will give you rest. Yes, he will give delight to your soul. Where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint. But happy is he who keeps the law. A servant will not be corrected by mere words. For though he understands, he will not respond. Do you seek a man hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him. He who pampers his servant from childhood will have him as a son in the end. An angry man stirs up strife, and a furious man abandons in transgression. A man's pride will bring him low, but the humble in spirit will retain honor. Whoever is a partner with the thief hates his own life. He swears to tell the truth, but reveals nothing. The fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be saved. Many seek the ruler's favor, but justice for man comes from the Lord. An unjust man is an abomination to the righteous, and he who is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked.